yeah, happy with our performance, happy with the beat and the raise and but the guidance as we look in the next year, I think customers are, the market is saying, what's happening with the on-premise business? Help us understand that, even as our subscription and SaaS business again showed very good growth. A larger portion of our business is on-premise, and how's that being affected by this environment? And then the lowering of the margin and growth rate versus where some were expecting next year. And we largely say, hey, we are leaning into what we call the SaaS smile, right? And we're going to accelerate that portion of our business. And it does have some, pressure on, the growth rate and the margins as we lean into that migration. We also take a more modest view of the economic recovery. We think we still have a long way to go until we're fully to the other side of the pandemic. And that's what led to our guidance. And we feel very confident in the overall business and our strategic role, but anxious to see some of these things materialize.
And I meant to say your operating margin, that 31%, was well above the street, which was a little below 28% in their expectation. But tell me what's happening during this season. This holiday season, Q4, sees such strong demand for technology, for cloud services. I imagine for your technology as well. We've been talking a lot about omnichannel and the need for flexibility for so many businesses heading into 2021. How's that showing up with your customers and their demand for what you provide?
Yeah, and I think we really see this tale of two cities, where as customers need to rapidly scale for these new areas such as delivery systems, omni-channel, as you say, but we're also seeing that the on-premise projects where a lot of our businesses, those are being slowed. Those are being prioritized differently. People can't get back into the data center yet because the buildings aren't opening and the projects are thus being delayed. We don't see any losses there in our business, John, just the delay of some of those transformational businesses and projects, as we would call it. But we too are seeing that acceleration of our subscription and SaaS, 44% growth in that area of our business this last quarter. So a lot of strength there. And as that gets bigger, of course, portends for a very positive view of VMware for the long term. But we still have a lot of work to do to see our on-premise transformational businesses get back to where we expect them to be in a normal economic and post-pandemic world.
So how are you modeling 2021? Because we're getting indications now with these vaccines that, around mid-year 2021, we could have people returning to a lot of on-premise locations. Do you expect that to happen with data center as well, and for there to be kind of some built-up demand for those kinds of services? Or is that going to shift to the cloud, and is the on-premise business not going to come roaring back?
Well, we've indicated the overall economy. We call it the Nike swoosh. My friend John Donahue doing a little bit of advertising for Nike there. But, we see it being a gradual resumption of the business overall. And thus, second half will be stronger than first half. We do see a resumption, and we said in our Q4 guide that we see in our pipeline some momentum for some of those projects to get started, but still not back to the level they were. First half will improve over where we are in Q4, but it's really not until second half where we see things sort of resuming to normal. I'd say overall, John, we're sort of like halfway through the pandemic until it's a broadly deployed vaccine. We still have 9-ish months to go until that, I think under any scenario is the case. So a long way to go. So for us, it's sort of going to be a first half, second half story next year, where much more of that normality of on-premise and transformational activities will be weighted to the second half of the year. And obviously, the Q1 of this year was a stronger quarter, right? We really didn't see a pandemic impact. So much more in the second half of the year where we'll see that being the case. And that's all factored into the guidance that we gave.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.